Hey, Gil, it's nice to talk to you again. I'm pretty psyched. I love you on the show. I think you're the best. And your character is probably my favorite character, to be honest.
Okay, I'm going to spend the whole interviewing hour with you then.
Nice. Yeah. Okay. So I got to ask you, what can you say is in store for Chief Rainwater this season? Because I find that him and Dutton, despite the fact that they're always at loggerheads, and they probably always will be, in a lot of ways, it's been kind of coming up that eventually they're going to be unlikely allies because they're fighting against the common enemy. Would you say that that's a fair assessment? They're unlikely allies to some extent?
Yeah, and it kind of goes in and out, right? I mean, depending
Yeah.
on the forces that we're facing, and more so, I think for Rainwater because he doesn't really have the leverage as
Mhm.
of yet. So he has to find alliances and strategize as such. And we're getting bigger and more powerful corporate interests, trying to come into the land, and it's so reflective of real life because if you got the big guns, man, it's really hard to defend yourself with it.
Well, I mean, I've always thought as much as he seems to, despite himself, have some kind of fondness for the Duttons, I guess particularly Monica, right? Because she straddles both worlds. But would you say that it's inevitable that there's going to be some huge conflict between Dutton and Rainwater further down the line? Because I feel like the whole show is kind of playing up to like a big climatic battle between the two of them. Like it seems inevitable to me.
Yeah, I mean, those are the two constants, right? In terms of the confrontation, and then we're fighting outside forces that are always new ones and bigger ones, as I was saying. But then the personal connection with Monica and Casey, and so we're getting an insight of what the family ties can influence in some of these decisions.
One of my favorite things about the show is I really like the guy that plays your kind of right hand man, Mo.
Yeah.
And I like the relationship between the two of you, especially. And there was like a really cool moment towards the end when they find this airs after the first episode where they find the guy in the casino. I thought that was awesome. Is there more shenanigans for you and Mo coming up this season? Because I love the two of you.
Yeah, I think I'll turn Mo into my rip, right?
Yeah.
my power enforcer. Yeah, I mean, it's such a great combination with both of us, him really coming from the center of culture and advising, in that sense, as Rainwater struggles to deal with the powers that be in modern day society. So I love the developments of how Mo's now kind of finding himself in a new and exciting position.
Well, that also brings me to the relationship that you have with Monica, right? Because in some ways, you two are a lot alike, right? I mean, she has to walk the tightrope, I guess, between the Duttons and between her people, but you also kind of the old ways and the new ways, right?
Exactly.
And do you think that that's the relationship the two of them have? Because it always seems like he has a real fondness for her.
Yeah, I think that's a great insight on your part. And everybody's conflicted, right? And everybody's flawed. So it's kind of how these characters manage their lives, given their idiosyncrasies and their value systems.
Well, that's one of the best things about the show. And so I come from Canada, and it actually just dropped on Canada about a year ago, like all 3 seasons. It had taken that long to get here. And I teach English to French students, French Canadians, and they all love Yellowstone. And they were all really excited when they found out I was talking to you. And I want to know why is it you think the show bridges so many cultures, so many countries, and that people who would seemingly have no connection at all to the show love it so much?
Where are you in Canada?
Montreal.
I'm in Calgary right now.
Are you really? Oh, cool.
Yeah, I've been in Canada since August. Actually, I was in
nice.
Toronto before. I think because every character has something that appeals individually for our viewers. They see some part of themselves as Rip or some part of themselves as Rainwater or Kelly or Casey. So it's such a wide spectrum of emotional and human feelings, I think, that people are experiencing for themselves. So they identify with that character, and that's why they can't stop watching it. And it's universal that way. I was in Australia for that. It's huge in Australia.
That's awesome. Thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it. It's always great talking to you.
Oh, you too. Thank you.
Take care.